And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delays, but welcome to the StarCraft Evolution League number 3, your bi-weekly dose of SC Evo mod content. StarCraft Tournament. Of course, I'm here as ZvP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and by my plushies. As always, welcome everyone, welcome. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. I do apologize for the delayed start, but we are here, and we have begun, and we're jumping into game number 1 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Sylphoid. Sylphoid. We have the orange Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands. It is Boanaan for Platinum Esports, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the green Zerg player for 3D Clan. It is GgMaChine. And if you are in the chat, you know what time it is. Predictions. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series, on who you think will advance on into the next round. Will it be our Protoss, will it be our Zerg? Bearing in mind that, of course, we have some interesting variations going on here. The way this mod works, of course, welcome one, welcome all. This is not your typical SE2 game. First things first, 3-player spawn. We see Boanaan is scouting, looking for the expansion, sends out 2 probes, and he's coming for the cannon rush. Of course, Boanaan is playing SE2 Protoss, meanwhile GgMaChine is playing Brood War Zerg. Oh boy. And we'll see if he can pull off the defense. Overlord is not quite in position to scout the initial cannon rush, but I'm sure he's aware of what's going on. Boanaan, of course, has a big reputation for cannon rushing. Speaking of, pylon is done, cannons are on the way, and now GgMaChine, Gateway's on the way to wall off, I should emphasize. Second probe has arrived, cannons are on the way, and it's going to be on GgMaChine here to try and pull off a defense. Can he pull off a defense? That's a better question here, especially considering that he has limited tools available to him, or very different tools. There we go. Is forced to cancel the expansion, forced to expand elsewhere. Meanwhile, the spawning pool is about to finish up. He can get into his own ling speed, into his own spine crawler production, I should say, Sunken Colony production, and we'll see how Boanaan does transition from here. The gateway is almost done, and the proxy is under full swing. Meanwhile, the drone is being sent across the map instead. Interesting choice. But again, very quickly going over it. Welcome to SC Evo. This is a mod that brings together StarCraft 2 and Brood War. And the way this works is that players, in a way, alternate. I should emphasize that game after game, so game 1, one player is able to dictate and choose which race they're going to be playing. Game 2, they pick as well, or the opposing player picks, and it is stuck on SC2 versus Brood War. We never have StarCraft 2 races versus StarCraft 2 races, or Brood War races versus Brood War races. This mod is not balanced in that way. Link speed is on the way. Meanwhile, macro hatchery as well. The drone that's being sent out across the map, GgMaChine going for a ninja expansion. I mentioned at the start of the game, this map is a 3-player spawn map. This is a feature that has long since been forgotten in SE2. It's been a very long time since I think the last 3-player map was Catalina. What was that, like back in 2018, as Boanaan is going for his own natural. We'll be taking the natural base of GgMaChine, meanwhile GgMaChine taking the ninja base across the map. Here we go. Meanwhile, sunken colonies are now finishing up. This is a big feature here. I say feature. This is a big tool for Brood War Zerg, is the fact that they don't have queens. I mean, they do have queens, but queens play a very different role. They are a hive tech unit instead in Brood War, so sunken colonies are that much more important to defend, to survive, as there are no early game queens. Meanwhile, more lings are amassing, plus one melee is on the way. Ling speed to just finish, and we're just massing up lings. We're gonna bust out of the natural base. The cannons are finishing up. There's gonna be 2 cannons, soon to be 3 cannons here, and 1 shield battery. What's important was the lings, they just run past. They've run past the wall. Back at them, what do we have to defend? Nothing. We have a wall, but shield batteries have now just begun, and Boanaan is looking quite exposed back at home. Adepts, they might be able to threaten the bases, but again, that is 3 sunken colonies ready here in the mineral line, or close enough. Adepts, they do try to avoid those sunken colonies. There are a handful of links here to defend. They will get us around. Oh, yeah, they will shut down the first 2 adepts. Well, meanwhile, lings, they initially deal with the probe to make sure there's no cannon rush, and then that means that these cannons have time to finish. Uh-oh. I didn't quite notice. I thought the lings were rushing towards the main base, but no, that is not the case. As a result, shield battery is done, cannon is done as well. Boanaan is secured. It looks like GgMaChine is coming back home and he's looking to try and break the natural base. But again, remember, there is an overcharge with that shield battery. There's 3 cannons. There's adepts. Glaives is not quite yet done. Looks like Boanaan is working towards Glaive adepts. And here we go. We're coming for the surround. Can we break this overcharge? 12 cannons are being targeted by the shield battery. And yeah, Boanaan will hold. Lings, they cannot touch this position. Not with this kind of SimCity, not with the depths. We have more gateways on the way. The purpose of these gateways are to reduce surface area on the cannons, to make sure that Lings cannot touch this. Now, GgMaChine has another expansion on the way. He does have a little lava to work with and is droning, but can he survive? I feel like I would love to see another sunken colony here, a little bit closer to the mineral line maybe, but at the same time, at any moment, Boanaan can divert his attention towards these ninja bases, as Boanaan did scout earlier and is aware. Gateways are finishing up. That's going to be a lot of Glaive Adepts. And again, they just melt Lings. GgMaChine, oh, never mind. Doesn't quite have an overload across the map. He does have eyes on the main army, sees the constant Adept Warpins. The lair is almost done. With the lair, you can take it to Hydras, you can take it to Mutas and Aspire. Another Evo's on the way. And Adepts, yeah, they're headed towards the ninja base. They're making their way across. Meanwhile, the Overlord does spot this. GgMaChine, he is aware that the Adepts are gone. They're missing. And there's nothing here to defend. Oof. And nothing quite in position. The Lings are going to try and break out, but once again, we have a shield. We have a shield battery. We have an overcharge. Yeah, there's just nothing to protect these ninja bases. The lair as well is going to be exposed. And what can GgMaChine do from here? Like, once again, like, how can he break out of this? There's no Banelings for Brood War Zerg. There's no Roaches. There's no Ravagers either. Those are the typical tools that an SE2 Zerg player would have to break out of this contain. Instead, okay, it's going to be Spire. Okay, it's going to be Mutatech here from GgMaChine. I mean, Mutas, they can do nicely across the map in a way, but it's going to be a tough kind of breakout here for GgMaChine. Again, he has no economy here on these fringe bases, no extra gases. The bases are going down to the Adepts. With the lair finishing, technically he could try to go for something like a Nidus to reinforce and to defend, but alas, that's not going to be the case here for GgMaChine. Going for another ninja, let's go. Drones are spotted. Again, these things can't really do much of anything at the natural. The only other way would have been to try and take into lurkers, to try to break out slowly over time. I think that probably would have been like the best option, the best choice for GgMaChine. Like without Ravagers, without Banelings, I feel like lurkers would be the next best thing. But at this point, it's too late to take in that direction. Mutas are on the way. Boanaan has been on a pretty comfortable position here with 47 workers. With the 2 base economy, and here come the Massive Adepts, and honestly, I don't think there are enough Lings. Yeah, there are Adepts and Archons as well. I mean, this is the ideal army you want against Lings. They melt. Mutas are moving out across the map. Spine crawlers are, or I should say sunken colonies, are holding their own. Mutas are rallying out, so GgMaChine is going to do what he can, but again, there's cannons on the way. He can kill a lot of workers though. Yeah, they will deny mining in the main. Likewise, GgMaChine does have a ninja base, but again, he just cannot engage this. Lings, they come in from behind, they get a surround on one of the Archons. One Archon is gonna fall, and nothing else. Oh no! Turns come back in, GG gets called, and Boanaan takes game number 1. GG, well played. Boanaan flexing his SE2 cannon rush skills, which is some of the best out there. I mean, there's a lot of dedicated cannon rushes, to be fair. Boanaan is one of the more known ones from the European region, and Boanaan does take the first game. But what about the rest of the series here? Bearing in mind that now Boanaan is going to be forced to play, most likely, Brood War Protoss instead. And cannon rushing can be a little bit different. Of course, there's no shield batteries, there's no overcharge either. So this would be a good opportunity for GgMaChine to bounce back in the game, as he's going to be able to play his main race. we go. So we are going to be getting ready here for that second game. Just catching up with chat. Yeah, that's as we did mention. I would imagine that the way for a Brood War Zerg player to break out of that kind of contain would have to be to head into Lurker Tech. I would imagine outside of maybe going for a Nidus, true. Like that would be the other option. Like going for a Nidus room to either evacuate or to counterattack. Outside of that, I feel like Lurkers would be the way to try to break out and regain control of your natural. It would be, I think, your only option. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2. And again, this time GgMaChine is going to be rocking SC2 Zerg, and Boanaan is going to be rocking Brood War Protoss. I'm sure it's still up to do for a cannon rush. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's still going to happen. Let's go. As we're going to be loading into Oceanborn, a map that we're a lot more familiar with, a lot more fond of, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the orange Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands representing Platinum Esports. It is Boanaan. Leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the green Zerg player going for a 12 pool. It's going to be a short series from both sides. It is GgMaChine. And before I forget, a shout out to iStan in the chat. iStan, Pappy, thank you so much for subscribing for 21 months. That's a lot of months, Pappy. Thank you so much for the support. Also, a shout out earlier to Dave Testa. Dave also did resubscribe, I believe, for 19 months as well. So thank you so much to the both of you for the support that we do get on the CranKy Ducklings. Thank you. We do appreciate the support. Welcome to the StarCraft Evolution League number 3. Hope you enjoy your time. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting. As you can imagine, another Forge. It's going to be a Gate Forge opener here for Boanaan. Probe is moving out. Drone will scout, will confirm. GgMaChine is aware, and Lings are already on the way. Remember, it was a 12 pool. So 12 pool by GgMaChine. Lings are flooding out already. And Boanaan, it's going to be on him to wall off and to survive. It's going to be less about cannon rushing aggressively and more about cannons defensively instead. He's going for the Nexus first. Bold move! Nexus before cannon. Lings are spotted. Lings are moving out across the map, but I believe we should have enough time to wall up and to get those cannons up and running. There we go. First cannons on the way. And I believe Boanaan should be able to full wall. Yeah, there we go. Does go for the full wall. And with that, Boanaan is looking pretty secure back at home. Has a full wall, has the natural base. And the Lings, they will be able to get us around on the Forge, but the cannon is almost done. The cannon is now finishing up. GgMaChine has to back up, and behind this, GgMaChine is droning. He's droning, taking gases. Now, on the one hand, I would say that Boanaan is in a pretty decent position here, is able to, expand quite nicely and get into his game. On the other hand, at least GgMaChine can get into his own game as well. At least he can, stabilize and settle into a more macro kind of back and forth. A setting that I would favor GgMaChine in as the game progresses and as the game goes longer. I feel like GgMaChine is going to be more favored. Boanaan, his speciality is cheesing and cannon rushing. And outside of that kind of scenario, we'll see how he can perform. So I'm curious how Boanaan can kind of keep up with GgMaChine in a longer game. Citadel of Adun is on the way. Let's go. we are setting up. From the side of GgMaChine, because he 12 pulled, it does mean that his gases are late and his link speed is later than normal as well. You can see he fully pulls out of links, or he fully pulls out of gas. Is just focusing on mineral production or mineral income, and his third. So GgMaChine is macroing up. He does fan out his links. He's scouting for proxies. He's making sure that his opponent is stuck at home. I imagine we're rushing into charge. Yep, there we go. The Citadel is for charge to be researched. And this looks like the beginnings of a charge-based all-in. Now, the Overlord does confirm that there's no extra gateways in the main yet, but I would not be surprised if we throw down extra gateways. There we go. The Forge is being used. Bearing in mind, it was a Forge opener because of the cannon rush, and now we have +1 very quickly on the way. So fast +1, fast charge. And do we get a gateway explosion, or does Boanaan expand? Does reveal the pylon. The pylon is revealed, and it looks like he is actually expanding. Okay, very interesting. So we are rushing into +1 charge. Also, the Zealots are moving out. They walk across the map. Very interesting. Oh my god, their dreadlocks are so long. They're so stiff. Looks like just a big tube out of the back of their head. But regardless, the Zealots are moving out across the map. And there is that third base. No extra gases, by the way, for Boanaan, so just doubling down on mass charge load. The Zealots, they have arrived. Swipe away at the third. GgMaChine back at home did go into roaches, has taken extra gases here at the natural, so 3 gases. Roach production, queens are here as well, and the Zealots are going to be forced back. They're not really able to achieve too much. Spine crawler on the way, so GgMaChine taking this very seriously. Decent sidestepping, but GgMaChine gets the surrounding. Will shut down the Zealots. They're going to be cleaned up. We have more Zealots on the way, but already Boanaan losing a little momentum. And bearing in mind he has no way to reinforce across the map, Boanaan, he has to pull back. He bleeds out a lot of Zealots. That was how many Zealots? That was 5 Zealots going down. And GgMaChine is held. From here he can drone. Again, I feel like the Spine Crawler is a little bit of an overreaction. We'll see if he does cancel it. But regardless, he's settling into his lair. The lair is done. Roach speed is on the way. And GgMaChine is getting into his 3 base economy. Meanwhile, back at home, extra gates. More gates are being thrown down, now getting to +1 armor. It looks like Boanaan is still not really taking in any other direction. He's also not taking any gases. That would be the big sign for Boanaan. If he takes extra gases, then he might go into Archon production for charged Archon. For now, though, only 2 gases, and even then, not even full saturation on the 2 gases, and purely mass Zealot. So that's getting called out. We do have Dragoon range on the way. Interesting. And Dragoon production has begun. But again, because of the minimal gases, we have pulled back in. Never mind, 3 and 3 in gas. So it looks like we are going into from Mass Zealot into Dragoons to at least support. And if we take extra gases, then most likely into Mass Dragoon production. A Mass Gateway composition. No kind of supportive units behind this. There's no Storm, there's no disruptors, there's no Reavers. I say that, there it is. Temple Archives now on the way. That should be for High Templar, for Archon production and Storm. Boanaan rotating around, catching Overlords. Behind this GgMaChine, he's at full 3 base saturation, getting a 4th for now just for Larva. And interesting choice here, GgMaChine. I mean, he could just stick with, you know, Roach Ravager, or even Link Bane Roach Ravager, but no, he's taking up in a very different direction into a Spire. Trying to catch Boanaan off guard. We'll see if he can. First Dragoon gets caught out. How many times do I misspeak and say the SC2 variation of a unit? It's gonna happen more, let me tell you. You know what I mean. Nice kiting here for GgMaChine, taking down the Zealots. Zealots are going down, but as I say that, they do trade actually quite well against the Roaches. The kiting is not there. Yeah, the lack of kiting means GgMaChine, he bleeds out too much. He bleeds out far too much. Boanaan gains momentum, pushing on forward. There was no kiting from the Roaches. Zealots, they were trading so well, so efficiently. Much more than they should have. And as a result, that was how many? That was 14 Roaches going down for mainly Zealots. And GgMaChine, he's hurting. He's hurting, he's bleeding out a lot of Roaches. Expensive losses here for GgMaChine. And here comes the Mass Dragoon. Roaches trying to start a step forward. More Zealot reinforcements are coming in. Boanaan kiting back. And he's gaining ground. He's gaining more ground, gaining momentum. GgMaChine is in trouble. He has to race back. Behind this, going into Muta. And the Mutas, they can actually join up with the Roaches and try to clean up the Dragoons, or they can just get across the map and go for economic damage. Let's see what they go for. Oh my god, his Dragoons, they do so well actually against the Roaches. Yeah, they're going to be able to clean up every single Roach. Mutas are going for a counterattack, but back at home, there's nothing to defend. The 4th base is going to go down, and honestly, Boanaan can keep going. He can try to keep pushing. But the Mutas are now revealed, and back at home, there's a cannon in position, but not much else. Cannons can be targeted down. No shield battery, no overcharge. And we're committed to the base trade. Yeah, we are committed. Boanaan is going to lose the mineral line, but doesn't matter because he's going for the kill. At least he's trying to. A Spine Crawler coming into play. More roaches are amassing. Zelts are running out, and Boanaan does not have enough. It's not enough to break through, especially not without Zealots. Boanaan is kiting well, but behind this those 14 workers, but the mutas, they keep on going. Late reaction here from Boanaan. Late cannons. There's one cannon at the third, but 19 probes fall. Boanaan races back. The main base is exposed. There's nothing in the main. The mutas are wreaking havoc. 26, 28, plus mutas going down. GG gets called. GgMaChine defends. He attacks. He takes game number 2. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. And I was honestly really concerned for GgMaChine, considering he was bleeding out so many roaches while he was transitioning into Muta. I was really concerned that he wouldn't have enough to actually hold on to his bases, and he didn't hold on to the fourth, if you remember, but he was able to defend the third. He was able to barely hold on to the third base, was able to mass up enough roaches, and the Mutas was a risky gamble for GgMaChine, but did work out well in the end, did wreak havoc, did pull Boanaan apart. GG, well played. Was a risky maneuver, and now we're getting ready for the ace match, and we'll see how this story ends. We'll see where our players do take us. Getting ready for game 3. I'm not actually aware, I'm not familiar with the vetoes, so I'm not too certain what the third map is going to be. But we're gonna find out. Oh, okay. Wangali Beach. OGN edition. I don't think I've casted on this map. Is this a new map added to the map pool? Oh. My apologies. I did just realize, I think it is. Oh, I remember this map. I believe there was yeah, I believe I've seen this in SE2. This was back in Heart of the Swarm. This is actually a reference to the infamous finals that was had over in Korea, on Wangali Beach, I believe. Where, God, who was it? Firebat? Was it Firebat that jumped into the ocean after his win? Oh my god. Blast from the past. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Wangali Beach. We have the OGN edition. We have the orange Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Boanaan. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, going for a 12 pool, we have the green Zerg player representing 3D Clan. It is GgMaChine. I've never casted on this map, but I have watched games on this map. I will say that. So this is a very old SE2 map from Heart of the Swarm. I do remember this being in a season of, I think it was GSL and GSTL. Oh, let's go. The all kill. The Star League. But yeah, this is a reference to a real life event that occurred. There was an event that occurred at a beach essentially, and infamously, again, I think it was Firebat Hero, right? It was a Firebat Hero who won the tournament, and then he ran out onto the beach and jumped into the ocean as his ceremony. But before we can embrace the beach itself, we do have the Cannon Rush. Cannon Rush is upon us. Remember though, it was a 12 pool. The boys are being pulled as well. The drones are here, but the pylon is already done. This feels late. This feels like a late reaction from GgMaChine. The pylon is already done. The cannon will finish. Lings have arrived, and they're going for the probes. But, yeah, I'm not so sure these drones can really get much done. You have workers chasing the probe back across the map. Cannons do finish up. The probe does fall, but, I mean, the damage has been done. Boanaan, he does deny the expansion. Meanwhile, the second probe is being chased down. I mean, with both probes falling, that will spell an end to the Cannon Rush. So the Cannon Rush is denied, and Boanaan will have to transition. There we go, Cannon back at home. GgMaChine forced to expand elsewhere. We'll take the center expansion, not even the triangular third. But yeah, there's just so much to take in, and I appreciate that the game won't just end. the game will continue. Boanaan moving out, who is scouting for any kind of, I imagine, setting up his own proxy or looking for another expansion. Again, bearing in mind, Boanaan knows that he has denied the natural, and can he deny the backup expansion? Double event chamber out of GgMaChine. Double gas, oh my god. Rushing into 1-1, I imagine. Meanwhile, the probe has arrived, does scout the expansion, does scout the natural, and it looks like we're setting up for a backup cannon rush. GgMaChine is scouting himself, though. There's actually a lot of rooks here. We have rooks at the ramp. We have some destructible towers as well to create a wall-off. But GgMaChine does not have vision of his own expansion. The pylon is done, and the cannons are coming. And cannons are on the way. Does wall off with the gateway. Ling's gonna try to respond. We have sunken colonies back at home. But once again, it looks like this cannon should finish up. I mean, the pylon itself is under fire, true. Okay, 3 Lings can attack it at a time, not bad. Yeah, pylon is under fire. The pylon is gonna go down, just barely. Zealot has arrived, but not in time. But there's a backup pylon. Second pylon does finish. Both cannons finish up as well, and the Lings are cleaned up. The base is under fire as well. The cannon rush is successful. Meanwhile, across the map, Adept gets into the main base. GgMaChine, he is in a world of hurt. He's trying to get into 1-1 speedlings. Bearing in mind, once again, GgMaChine is the Brood War player. But alas, the expansion is going to be shut down. And trying to Ling Flood with 1 hatchery? Bearing in mind, there's no queens for injects, and that means that macro hatches are that much more important and that much more impactful for Brood War Zerg. But he's down to 1 hatchery. Down to 1 hatchery, down to limited larva. Making as many Lings as possible. And back at home, we have a full wall. Twilight Council's on the way, second gateway, or I guess a first gateway. I guess 2. I guess a third. The gateways are still up and running, and Warp Gate can be researched. Or is researched even. And gateways are warping into Warp Gates. Glaives are on the way. And this is looking a little bit bleak here for GgMaChine. Okay, he's going for the lair. Does finish up 1-1 and Ling speed. GgMaChine, he gets us around. Oh my god. 1-1 Lings actually do quite well if they're able to get us around on the depths. Boanaan taking his own expansion. Oh god. Going for his own, taking GgMaChine's natural. I mean, it makes sense considering he has cannons to defend. It's either take the natural base or take the backup. Meanwhile, building plates. We haven't seen that in a while. Basically, that's a big version of what's here. Where you can walk over them, but they have to be destroyed to expand. GgMaChine taking another expansion. Pretty weird. Again, because this map is mainly for aesthetic and less so balanced, like it's such a weird expansion as well. Like the setup, regardless of say shade into the main. You get 5 drone kills, 6 drones going down. Lings get across the map. They're making their way through the Cyber Core. Where are the Adepts? Cyber Core's under fire. Only 1 cannon. No shield battery. And it looks like the Lings are busting on through, just barely. But there's not that many Lings. They get into the mineral line, forcing a recall. Adepts are recalled back home. Adepts will defend. And it looks like GgMaChine, who just barely has anything left. He's down to 6 drones, down to 9 workers. Lair is done, but we're not going to be able to make use of it. Yeah, the Adepts, they're wreaking havoc. They just shut everything down. GG gets called, and Boanaan will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Boanaan will take it, will be successful with both of his cannon rushes. This is kind of, in a way, a factor to bear in mind, is that you do alternate back and forth, and because Boanaan was able to play SE2 Protoss twice, was able to make use of his cannon rushing skills. And again, if the opposing player isn't too familiar with you know, early game defense and dealing with early game cheese, then it can be difficult to try to come up on the fly with an answer to that. We saw that GgMaChine this time was able to at least deny I should say, was able to delay the first cannon rush. If you remember, it did kill both probes, but at the same time, the cannon still got up and the damage was still done. Boanaan was able to deny the natural and was able to force a lot of lost mining time. So the initial cannon rush didn't end the game, but it was still relatively successful. On top of that, unfortunately, GgMaChine didn't have an overlord over his second expansion. What does that mean? That means he did not scout the pylon and the second cannon rush at the second base. So because of that, GgMaChine wasn't able to stop that. He lost his second expansion as well. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to, again, protect his follow-up and protect his economy, and in the end, Boanaan did snowball out of control. But GG, well played. With that, we are going to be heading over to the Americas server, and we're going to be following Boanaan into his next series. Let's go.